Hey guys, welcome back. So I just got home from the Groomed Expo. I don't love that new name, but that's okay. I just got home from the Groomed Expo in Atlanta. Oh, my hair today, what a mess. Anyway, so while I was there, I had an opportunity to go stop by the Wag'n Tails. They don't, I guess, necessarily have a booth, but they're there with their van. So I went and stopped by and talked to Wag'n Tails. I'm sorry. Stevie's down here. I moved my hand quick and just booped her in the face. She's like, dang. So I went and stopped by their van and checked out their new, I think they call it Clean Power or something like that. I'm going to link it in the description so you guys can go see the van. So I went and saw their new van. Sorry, my hair is so distracting to me because I don't love it right now, but that's okay. So anyway, I went and saw their new, basically their inverter system. Now, there are a lot of ways that it is, I think, better than the Hanvey. As you guys know, I've had a lot of issues with my Hanvey. It's actually down again with a belt this time. So it's had an alternator, a coolant leak, EGR valve, and now a belt go wrong. In the last 6 months, since September, I've had these issues. So not thrilled with the Hanvey right now. So anyway, when you're seeing this, there's already a live stream up with Dennis from Wag'n Tails that he is going to be talking about everything in their system and all that and answering questions. So I'm going to make a post. Hopefully you guys will have seen it on the community tab, I guess, on YouTube, but in case you didn't see that and you weren't able to catch us live, it's over on Instagram, and I don't know if I can link. I can at least put my groomer. It's Grooms by Janine, same thing, over on Instagram. So go check it out. You can go back and rewatch our live stream together. I always save the live streams like that. Stevie, where are you going? Anyway, so as I mentioned, I have the most recent thing before this belt that went wrong was the EGR valve. So with the Wag'n Tails inverter, and by the way, in the Wag'n Tails, first of all, you can get the Ford, you can get the Dodge, you can get a Mercedes, you can get the big Mercedes, you can get the small Mercedes. You really have a lot more options right off the bat with the Wag'n Tails option. And as you know, if you watched my last video about my Hanvey going down, the Hanvey went down with that EGR valve because of how long you have to idle in the Hanveys. If you don't idle in the Hanveys, you do not have air conditioning. You do not, Stevie. Oh, there you are. Sorry. She's right there. I don't trust her. I'm like, what are you doing? If she goes in the other rooms, so sorry about that. Anyway, so you don't have to idle, which that is causing so many problems in these vans. With the Hanvey, if you're not idling, then you don't have air conditioning, and you also would potentially have problems with your battery. You probably run out of power. You can connect into your clients' houses with the Hanvey, but you still will not have air conditioning. Your van has to be on and running for you to have AC, which most of us need, unless you're in really cold climates. But even then, most of us will use the AC to get out extra moisture as we are grooming. So you do not need the idle. You don't need to idle in the Wag'n Tails inverter. They have a lithium battery in the back, and you can still use your air conditioning and your canine dryer, which that's everybody's biggest complaint is about the Hanvey dryers. So there is a canine dryer in the Wag'n Tails van. I know that's a huge thing. The second thing is that they actually, from the, right off the bat, they put a new alternator in your van that is equipped to handle their system. So that was another, like I said, back in September, that was my first major issue that I had, was that my alternator went out. And if you're a Hanvey owner, these alternators are going out left and right, whether Hanvey wants to acknowledge that or not. They're going out like crazy. And Wag'n Tails, they realized hey, this, and what he told me that this was I was like, mind blown, right? He said that basically they don't tap into this engine in the Mercedes at all. He told me it's a $25,000 engine and they aren't tapping into it. They are certified by Mercedes to put this alternator in. So, and they said they are the only company in the United States as far as grooming goes that is certified by Mercedes to make this change. So they're going to go in and they're going to replace that alternator before you even get the van. So their system in the back so the alternator can handle that system. And I was like, whoa, like, why is Hanvey not doing this? Like, it's so simple, right? Like, Hanvey knows that their vans go through alternators. They told me that before I even bought one, that I would go through alternators. And I never knew there was even an option to put a better alternator in it. I'm like, hello, that to me is so simple and so smart. Wag'n told me they've been working on this inverter system for 10 years. The lady up there, I want to say she was the wife of Dennis, and I'm so sorry if I'm getting that wrong. She's beautiful. She's got brown hair, really nice curls. I mean, gorgeous, right? So she has, I think that's his wife, and he told me his wife has been driving this this new inverter system for 1.5 years. So they have been testing it. It's not like they just put it out and they were like, good luck, you know? So they, like I said, the alternator is actually made for their system. Imagine that. So the next thing that they had is they don't tap into the coolant or anything else in the engine, as I mentioned, because it's a $25,000 engine and they don't want to do anything that could affect that engine. As you know, with my coolant leak in the back of my van, that could have potentially damaged my engine in the van. And I don't know, because the coolant leak itself was not covered under warranty. Imagine with me for one moment if your $25,000 engine broke and you had to replace it. That would do me in. I don't know what I would do. Honest to God, I don't know what I'd do. I don't have $25,000, do you? So, don't love that. So, as I mentioned, there's a lithium battery in the back, so that means that you don't need water. The lithium batteries, I was told by another, sharpener, actually, that he was saying that they can get hot, but Wag'n, sorry, I'm trying not to say Hanvey because my Hanvey's so conditioned in my brain because I never talk about Wag'n. So Wag'n went ahead and put extra fans back there, and there's a whole system back there that the battery is smart and it knows if it's getting too hot, it will have these fans turn on. And the fans he described to me work just like the fans in a laptop or your computer, that, when you're using it and you hear that fan kick on, it's to keep it cool. So there's that. There is solar power, which I'll have to ask him on the live stream. I'm not sure what the solar power is for. Does it power the entire van? Is it meant for specific things? I would guess it powers the entire van, but I guess that distributes some of the power. So, and really quick, so I don't forget, he told me that the only person that he's had, because your battery obviously will run down throughout the day, but the only person he's had that has had to turn their van on and idle for a little bit did 5 German Shepherds in one stop. So yeah, if you're there for that long, that's an entire day of grooming, and they did run down their battery enough that they had to idle for a little bit. But I'm like, me personally, I don't have any stops where I stop that long, so you should not have to idle your van. And the system is smart. It will ding and tell you that it's running out of power and that you need to idle for a little bit. So I thought that was pretty cool. So like I said, it has the fan to keep the battery cool during the summer months, and I guess winter too if it starts getting too hot. But it also has a heater that is meant to keep that battery warm during the winter, and it also, that heater is right there by the water pipes and everything, so it automatically keeps them warm. So if you have a Hanvey, then you know that in freezing temperatures that you have to put an additional space heater in your van to keep your pipes warm so that they don't freeze and bust. And that's something that I have personally been really worried about, because I don't like the idea of leaving a space heater just going in my van all night where I can't monitor it. What if something caught fire, So I didn't love that space heater thing. So I do love that they went ahead and have this all, and this will plug in, you just plug it into your house just like you would the Hanvey, and it'll just automatically do this stuff overnight. So you just plug it in, you're good to go. So everything is easy to access. The battery is in the back. You just open the back and it's sitting right there. And it has, I think he told me 6 bolts or something like that it's bolted down back there. It's under a 5-year warranty. So if that battery goes bad, you can just unbolt it. They'll send you a new battery and you just bolt it right in. It's all right there where you can easily access it. And one thing that I thought was really, really cool is there's like a little cord back there, and he told me you get like a laptop with the van, and there's a cord that goes to the battery, the lithium battery, and you can plug that cord into this computer system, or maybe your computer system, and it will automatically connect you to Wag'n Tails, and they can pull up, and the battery will actually tell them like what's going wrong, and they can fix it right there, whether you're at your house, whether you're in a client's driveway, etc., etc. So they can fix that for you. And like I said, if the battery itself went bad, then they'll send you a new one. It's under warranty for 5 years. And if you've never done mobile before, typically when you get the loan for the van, they want you to pay it off in 5 years because it's a vehicle loan, you know, and the vehicles depreciate in value so quickly. So basically, from my understanding, that's going to be covered under warranty the entire time you have the van. You don't have to get a diesel Mercedes to make this thing work. So you're going to save on gas right there. And everything just seemed so simplified and just made so much sense. Like I said, you don't need to idle, because this is a known issue that these Hanveys are having issues from idling. So why don't they try to develop something where you don't have to idle? And they know the alternators go bad. So why do they keep just going off of the Mercedes alternator? Why don't they replace it with a stronger alternator? When mine went out, the amount of mobile people that were like sharpeners or, you know, had RVs or whatever that told me like, oh, they just need to put a stronger alternator in it. Why doesn't Hanvey do that? I don't understand it. Because if they just did these simple things, in my opinion, I'm not a mechanic or an engineer, so maybe it's not that simple, but Wag'n Tails did it. So, and like, why are we tapping into a $25,000 engine and potentially... Anyway, so that's just like the mechanical side that I saw from, as a Hanvey owner, that I saw was better, right? Now let's talk about the design. As we already mentioned, the canine dryers. Everybody hates the Hanvey dryers. That's just the reality. Everybody hates the Hanvey dryers. I will give Hanvey a little bit of credit that I don't hate them, but that canine dryer is strong, and there is definitely a good point there that, you know, I could probably dry a dog faster with that canine dryer. It's just powerful, and it's a good dryer from what I've seen. If you try to use a canine dryer in a Hanvey van, you will blow the breaker back there, so you cannot use them. And most people hate their vans. The amount of people that have ripped out the dryers in the Hanvey vans and replaced them with other things is unreal. So you'd think that might click to them, like, hey, people hate this, maybe we should change something. But one thing I've learned with Hanvey, and I'm trying not to make this just like a bash Hanvey video, but one thing I've learned is, like, you can tell Hanvey all day long, like, this I don't like, and they're like, it's perfect as it is. Like, I've said to them, you know, I don't like where the tub is placed. Like, if I'm not in the perfect position, the dogs end up like standing in the water and it makes it impossible to dry them. Well, the tub's in the best place it could be. And it's so funny they say that, because every other mobile ever has the tub in the back of the van. And when I was looking at Wag'n Tails design, they have this like platform that you can either put it up high so it's up there for little dogs, or you put it down at the bottom and it keeps the big dogs out of the water. And I'm like, hello, how simple. And Hanvey has something like that, but it's an additional thing that you have to buy that bottom one, and then it comes with the smaller one. But it's like these just little things. Like, could you move the bathtub to the back? No. I've told them, you know, the table's really not in a good spot, that it's between the tub and the toolbox. And the dogs, like, to me, and I've said this time and time again, the Hanvey van to me very much gives off the energy that a groomer did not make this van. It is very much like somebody that's never groomed before, that's like, well, this is what you need. you're done. They made that van and they have never worked in it. So they don't understand that, like, when you get a big dog on that table and they tuck themselves in the back corner by that bathtub and in between that table, and you're trying to trim their britches and they're like tucked in the corner, it's annoying. It's very annoying. But the Wag'n Tails table is like freestanding. Like there's not a wall right there, so they can't just push themselves up against the wall. And the thing is like the dogs aren't stupid. They don't want to fall off the table. So if there's no wall for them to lean on, they're not going to lean that way. They're going to have to kind of stand more central. The Wag'n Tails table also spins around. So if you're working on one side and you want to switch around, you can spin it around the other way. And it has like, rather than Hanvey where the tub and table are touching, Wag'n Tails like has this extra platform that you can pull out and the dog will like walk across it. And he said, this was so cool, I didn't know this, but Dennis from Wag'n Tails told me that one of their vans was on Cesar Millan's show. And I know not everybody loves Cesar Millan, but this technique he did was actually really cool. So the groomer was having issues. It was like a Pyrenees or something, like a big dog, that they were having issues getting into the tub. And there's like this like loop, you know, where you clip the groomer lead. So there's like a loop there. And what Cesar did was connect that to the loop right then. And he just put his arm like behind the big dog and the dog just walked right in. I was like, damn, because you know the amount of times that I've had the table lined up to the Hanvey tub and I've still had to just basically lift them to get them in. I mean, granted, I don't want to keep taking big dogs. I'm gonna, you know, keep the ones I have until they pass and, you know, whatever. But eventually I want to only do small dogs, so it wouldn't be a problem forever. But there's a lot of mobiles that want to do big dogs. So the fact that they like have this system, and that was so cool to be like, wow, like that's a good idea to like have this dog connected to the lead already, so that they know like, well, this is where we're headed. It's kind of like when you're walking them with a leash, you know. So I thought that was really cool. And one thing, again, like so simple that I feel like Hanvey could easily do, but they don't, is they don't have an adjustment for the water temperature. Like, you have to plug in, it's automatically set at whatever temperature, and yeah, you can adjust that, but it's not like immediate. It's not like, oh, this is a little hot today, so let me turn it down kind of thing. They don't have that. And I tried to mention something to them at one point. I was like, you know, that's really annoying. Like, when it's been the same temperature, like, you know, all summer long, you're okay, or all winter long, you're okay, but in that in-between in-between time, that, you know, when you're going into spring, there's like a couple days that you go to get in your van and the water is scalding hot because it's been heating up with the water heater all night. And then, you know, when you go in the morning and it's kind of warming up outside and you go to use that water, it's like scalding hot. And then vice versa in the winter, when it's like kind of in that in-between time of like, should I plug my water heater in? Should I not? And you have it unplugged, then the first bath of the day is like an ice bath. And if you've taken CPR and first aid for dogs, you know how easy it is for them to get too cold or too hot to the point where there could be a medical emergency. So something so simple as a freaking adjuster, like how you have in your shower to adjust how warm or cool the water is, like how simple. But Hanvey doesn't have that. And other really simple things that they could easily add that they don't, there's no trash can in there. There's no sorry, I just kind of messaged and it distracted me. There's no laundry basket. And those are two very simple things that the Wag'n Tails comes with. And the Wag'n Tails, both of them are actually very smart. Like the hamper is like in the tub. You open this like door in the tub and you just push it right through. So it's out of the way. You're not going to get hair all over everything or anything like that. And same with the trash can. It's in one of the drawers and you open this trash can and you open the drawer and there's your trash can. And it's like, how freaking simple. Because like right now I have a laundry basket, and like I said, anytime I do a de-shed or anything like that, my towels get covered in hair and then the hair ends up on the towels, and then I have to put it in my washer and dryer, which could potentially damage my inside equipment. And same with like the trash can. Like I have it Velcroed to the floor, but as you know, with Velcro, it starts to wear out over time. So I hit a hard stop and my trash can goes flying. And then I got shit everywhere. So it's like so freaking simple. Another thing that's so simple that they could do that they don't is they add that toolbox in. The location of the toolbox, ooh, like aggravates the hell out of me. So a lot of times when you're driving down the road, the drawers open. They just open because of the weight of the stuff that you put in there, like your shears, your blades, those kind of things. The drawers will open even if you close them all the way. And Hanvey tells you, oh, as long as you close them all the way, you're good. No, that's not true. And also, even if you lock them, that is not guaranteed that they're going to stay closed. You could still hit a hard turn, and even with your doors locked, they can come open. And guess what? Not only does it damage your door, you get scratches all up and down your door, but it also, when you get to your client's house and you go to get in the back, you ding your door and you can't get back there. You're locked in the cab. You got to get out and go around. There's one house I go to that, there's this dog that's like an outside dog that he kind of roams around the yard, and when I get out, he jumps all over me and gets me really dirty. And it's like, you know, when I'm cleaning people's dogs, they're always the first stop of the day. I don't want to go to my next stop covered in mud. So the owner brings the little dog that I groom out to the van and hands it to me through the window. Well, there's been a time or two that I pulled up in the driveway and I'm trapped in the fucking cab. So I have to get out and go around, and I get jumped all over by that dog. I'm like, and just, it's just annoying when you get to your client's house and you go to get out and you're like, bang, and you're like, motherfucker. Like, the amount of times that I have been stuck in my own cab because of that fucking toolbox, and you try to say, hey, this could be in a better spot. No, it's perfect. It's great where it is. That's Hanvey's response to everything. No, there's nothing wrong. It's perfect. Exactly how it is. Ugh, I would love to see Hanvey, the people that make this design, I would love to see them drive around and groom dogs like this. I mean, it's stupid. But, so anyway, Wag'n Tails has just regular cabinets, and the cabinets do have like a secure, like, kind of like, you have to pull on those things to open them. Like, they're not going to just fly open while you're driving around. And one thing that Hanvey told me when I was up there was like, well, those Wag'n Tails cabinets, they're so small, you couldn't possibly fit anything in them. Like, they're not even deep enough. Dennis showed me that the cabinets by the tub are big enough to hold gallons. And I was opening the cabinets and looking, and I was like, these are plenty big enough. I could put my products in these. I could put my bows in there. You know, those kind of things. Like, it's so simple. And then they had one cabinet that had like a little holder that had like holes in it. You could put your shears, you could put your brushes, whatever you want in there. And I was like, hello, how simple. So, all of these things, and there's color choices. I know that's so minuscule, but we're women. We like colorful things, and men too. Sorry, that was very sexist of me. But you walk in, the floors are sparkly. You can choose what your background color is going to be. And that's nice for the background of your pictures. Even if you think it's like not a big thing, when you take these pictures, people see the background too. So when you have those cutesy colors in the background, it's just amazing. So there's just pretty much everywhere Hanvey is lacking, Wag'n Tails is there. And, you know, I know people have had generator issues, and that's why I was, like, so interested in this inverter system. I was like, wow, like, this really seems smart. And I've talked to a few people about it now that are, you know more about this than I do, and everybody so far, like, we all think this seems pretty damn good. So I'm excited about it. I have my eye on it. To be honest with you, with all the problems I've had with Hanvey, I really was planning on getting out of mobile and potentially out of grooming altogether, because I was so at my wit's end with everything, you know, like I was just like, God, like breaking down all the time. I don't want to open a shop. I like staying mobile. I like the van. So, but you know, being down again for the fourth time, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like my clients are going to start getting mad at me. And that's not even including the amount of money I miss out on every time my van breaks down, you know? And like I said, I was at my wit's end, and I was like, I don't want to open a shop. I don't know that I want to open a school yet. And like, what the hell am I going to do? I guess I'm just going to get out of grooming. That's really where I was at, was like, I'm going to get out of grooming. And seeing this Wag'n Tails van just like completely re-inspired me. I mean, they were so nice. When I went up and talked to them, they were so helpful. They really talked to me about everything and showed me all the details. They turned things on and they were like, watch this, you know, these kind of things. And even the lady I was talking about earlier, I wish I would have gotten her name. I'm terrible about that. But she the really pretty one, she grabbed Hammer and was like holding him and hugging him, and she's like, thank you for letting me love on your dog. I was like, oh girl, he needed that. Like, by the time I talked to Wag'n Tails, it was at the very end of the day, like probably 20 minutes before the entire trade show closed. I was just so crazy busy all day when I was at the trade show that I didn't get a chance. Every time I went to try to walk by Wag'n Tails, there were so many people up there, and I really wanted to talk to Dennis in particular because I knew he was like one of the owners or whatever, or like a higher up. I actually don't really know who owns it. I think it is Dennis, but I don't know. So anyway, I really wanted to talk to him, and every time I walked by, he was helping somebody. I mean, they were busy. So by the end of the trade show, I was able to go up and talk to them, and like I said, Hammer really needed that moment to just be loved on. So they were just fantastic. I was really, really, really impressed by everything. So I'm so excited. I have my eye on these vans. Like I said, I was telling my mom this morning, I was like, I swear to God, if there was a way for me to do it, I would buy one right now. No shit. I would buy one right now. And then when that piece of shit wants to break down on me, I can just use the Wag'n Tails. I would hire, if I could do this hypothetically, I would hire another groomer and let them just run the Hanvey. And whenever it breaks down on me, while I pay the rest of that stupid shit off, I would just let them use my Wag'n Tails on, you know, so I work 4 days a week. So I would let them use the Wag'n Tails the other 3, right? And then they could keep making money while that piece of shit Hanvey is in the shop. And we could just do that until it's paid off. And then I could buy a second Wag'n Tails. Like, in a hypothetical situation, doesn't that sound good? Like, knowing that I could just work. Imagine just being able to work without your van breaking down. Wouldn't that be something? So anyway, so impressed by Wag'n Tails. I'm so thankful too that Dennis is willing to come on. Like I said, so today is Tuesday. Dennis will be on Sunday, but this video is going to go up next Monday. So by the time you're seeing this, Dennis will have already come on and done the live with us and talked about everything. And he's going to be able to answer the nitty gritties. He's going to be able to answer about the trailers and the generators and all these things that I don't know anything about. So I'm really excited about this system. It, like I said, has reinstated my hope in mobile grooming. So I cannot wait to see, and maybe I'll be able to get one sooner rather than later because I'm so over it with this Hanvey. I think a lot of us Hanvey people are. So thank you to Wag'n Tails for taking the time to talk to me and explain all this stuff to me. And, you know, for caring about us as groomers and for understanding how stressful it is if our van is down. So I really hope that this system is as awesome as I think it's going to be. And definitely, if you didn't get a chance to watch the live, go watch it. It's on my Instagram. It's Grooms by Janine. And when you're seeing this, I'm sure it'll be the most recent video I uploaded. So go check it out. Again, I'm just so thankful for Wag'n Tails for taking the time to talk to me and telling me about the system, and for them to come on the live stream, even though I'm a freaking Hanvey. I'm like their competitor, you know? So it was really cool. And I'm really excited. So anyway, thank you guys for watching me as always, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.